Hey, hi, welcome guys. Welcome back to our channel, which is Fiveron. And today I'm going to discuss about the coding part of the linear regression. Before going to start, I would like to give the quick recap so everyone should be in the same page. So in the last session, we had discussed about the theoretical concept of the linear regression and mathematical concept and what are the mathematical derivation required to understand the linear regression concept, right? So before going to jump into the coding section, I would like to give the quick recap or quick overview what we had discussed so far, so forth, right? So basically, linear regression we are going to deal means linear regression algorithm is used to deal with the means in order to establish the relationship between the independent and dependent variable. That's what we are going to learn the linear regression. These things we had seen. Now type of regression algorithm we had seen. In case of type of regression, we had seen first one is linear regression, second one is the multiple linear regression, and we had seen so many things. In case of multiple linear regression, what is the things we had deal means we are going to deal with the multiple regression. Means if our target column is going to be affected by the various input or various predictor, then we should go with the multiple linear regression. And similarly, if we had seen the polynomial linear regression, what is the use of the polynomial linear regression? Sometimes it is very difficult as a machine learner algorithm, machine learner or machine to classify our target column, right? So in order to overcome this kind of problem, we should know the polynomial linear regression, because linear a single line not able to classify the model properly. So in order to classify that kind of problem, we are going to deal with the some curve shape of the algorithm. So in order to deal with any kind of curve shape, we should know polynomial equation. An algorithm is what? Basically mathematical equation. That's the thing we had seen so far, so forth. And also we had seen the accuracy, means how you will check the accuracy of your linear regression. Basically we had seen how to check the what are the things, what are the parameter we have to take in our mind, so we can determine the accuracy of our any linear regression, either it is a linear regression, multiple regression, or polynomial regression, or ridge, or whatever we are going to see now. Okay, so basically we are going to deal with the predicted value, error value, and also we are going to see with the actual value and r-square value. R-square value is very important, which is going to determine whether your model is how good your model it is. Okay, so increase the r square, your model will be better. Means with the increase of the r square value, your model will be get better. And we had seen in our previous session, I had given the derivation also of the r square value. And also we had seen the r adjacent r square, what are the problem we faced in case of r square, that also we had seen. And in order to overcome the problem, what the techniques came into the picture, we came with the adjacent r square. Next is what we had seen all those things, and we had seen the cost function also, mean square error, root mean square error, everything we had seen means theoretically. Now we are going to implement all those things guys with the coding section, because at the end practical knowledge is required, right? So now we are going to deal with the coding part. And so just give me a moment, I'll open my Jupyter notebook. Now what we are going to do, we are going to import first important libraries which is required to in case of means build the linear regression. First we are going to import the NumPy, then pandas, then matplotlib, pyplot. This is the visualization purpose. Everything we had seen in our previous video. If anyone is directly jump into the video, then I'm requesting to everyone first go with my pandas section, means pandas playlist, what the pandas is doing, what the numpy is doing. I created a separate videos for that. Okay, so I'm requesting everyone go with those videos first. And before jumping to the coding section, first requesting to don't jump directly into the coding section, first go through the theoretical concept of the linear regression, then only you feel understanding. Means otherwise it's a completely gone over your head, right? So this is the one prerequisite I would like to highlight here. Then what I'm going to do here guys, I'm going to import one Boston live data set, which is already available in case of sklearn. So yeah, if it is available inside of your library, then well and fine. If it is not available, then I already told you how to import, how to take a data from the external files. So that the things you can do with the help of the pandas. But right now we having the data set, we having the dedicated data set in case of sklearn. I'm going to import that thing first. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to load the Boston data set. So now I'm going to import the data set which is already available in case of sklearn. So how to import first? So what I did, I just import the sklearn.dataset load Boston. So Boston dataset I loaded, and now in case of Boston dataset, what are things are there, we'll see. So we are going to import the first, we'll check the key and features name, then we will see what are those things. So what I'm going to do, so you can see here how many features are there. These are the features are there, means CRIM, ZN, and these are the different features we having. We don't have the target. So how to call the target? Boston.target. If you want to see the what are the target variable we have, so just call the Boston.target, and you can happily get to know these are the target value we having, right? So basically house price we are going to predict here, right? So behalf of these different parameter like a CRIM, ZN, Indus, means different things are there, right? Size, what are the things are there? With the help of that, we are going to predict the price of my house, okay, Boston price. Now if you want to check, if you want to describe the Boston data set, then just call the print boston.descr describe function. You can see here all those things. These are the different features, you can say these are the independent feature which is going to affect our target column. So these are the different independent features. Number of instance, how many rows we having total 506 data points we have rows, and how many columns we having 13 column we have. If you can see, this is complete information it is going to give. And if you want to check is there any null value present or not, you can happily check. Just give me a moment, I'll show you how to check those things also, right? So what I'm going to show you, I'm going to, I loaded Boston data set. Now my responsibility to create a data frame, because without data frame, how to analyze, right? How to solve my problem. So in order to create a data frame, what you can do, pd.data frame and Boston.data and column name, because this Boston dot, if you can go upside, you can see Boston dot feature is going to give me complete column name, right? So what I'm going to do, I just create a data frame with the pd.data frame, and data is Boston.data and dot column name, all those column, whatever features are associating with that. So if you can see, I created my data frame, and if you want to check, yes, happily I can able to see my data frame, and you can see this is the 506 rows and 13 column, and in case of describe function also giving the same value. So in this case I can prove, I can ensure that my data set is loaded successfully. Now next is what, it's an independent feature, right? It's an independent feature, and you have to associate the target column also, right? So first we'll check the, as you know, the shape, but in case if you want to check the shape independently, then you can check the data set shape also with the help of df.shape, right? So shape we had created. Now my responsibility is what, I have to incorporate the target column also in my main data set, or you can say whatever data frame we had created. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to this value is going to give me the target value, right? If you can see here, this Boston.target is giving the array of my all target value, all five here. If you'll count here, if you'll count how many values we having, it's a completely should be 506 value. Don't worry about that. So what I'm going to do, I am going to create here separate column with the help, with the name of the housing value, and in that column I'm going to put all those my Boston target value, right? So if you want to do, then control plus enter to run this. And now if you want to check whether my data, means that column has been incorporated with that or not, you can check. You can see this is my housing value column has been created with my main data. Now if you will check my shape, what is the shape of that? So means obviously initially 506 comma 13 column was there, right? Now if you'll check, it become a 506 comma 14 because our target column got incorporated there, right? Now what is that? If you want to check what are the different data types we having, what are the different data types, means each column having the different values. Some columns is containing categorical data type, some column is containing float, some column is containing integer kind of data type. So if you want to check all column what are the different data types we having, just call df.dtypes and you can happily see all those column is incorporated with the float 64. What is 64? As I already discussed in my pandas class, what is float 64? Because your operating system architecture is 64-bit, so that's what it is showing, float 64. And someone will ask if I want to work with the float 32, you can work happily, you can work. I discussed these things in my pandas class. Just go through that, how to convert your operating system architecture into 32-bit 2-bit. That is also possible, here, no worries. Now one thing is done is here, all those data is in the float. So guys, one thing I would like to highlight here, if you are going to apply any machine learning algorithm, first task, first job you have to convert all the categorical data into either float or any integer kind of data type, because machine will not understand name xyz. Okay, machine will not understand xyz, right? Machine will only understand 1 and 0 or number, right? So your responsibility as a data scientist, as a machine learner, your responsibility to how to convert your data set, or you can say how to convert your data type into the numbers. Okay, that part will come under the EDA, which is known as the exploratory data analysis. Don't worry, it's a very basic linear it's a very first machine learning algorithm we are going to apply. So I took very simple data set. Okay, so but in future class we will incorporate EDA techniques also. So there we will show you how to convert your categorical data set into some numbers or label encoding, everything we will show. So but for your understanding, I took this data set because it's a very easy and very easy to understand also, you can say. Now what I'm going to say, I want to check in each column, is there any null value present or not? If you want to check that value, so just call df.isNull method. On the top of that you can call the sum. So you can see there is no null value also, right? So that is also your responsibility. If there is a null value, then you have to remove or you have to incorporate some logic behind of that as per the situation. But as of now there is a no null value. Yes, it's a very pretty means you can say pretty clear data set. Okay, so there is a no EDA techniques need to incorporate here. So up to this, no doubt. Now what I'm going to do here, if you had remember when I was discussing about the multiple linear regression or linear regression, we having two things. One is independent variable, another is dependent variable. So what I'm going to say here, if you can see here in this data set, I'll annotate this, don't worry. So if you can see this data set, so here also these are the independent variable, and this is my dependent variable, which, oh shit. Now in this data set, if you can see here, so basically if you can see in this data set, how many columns we having? 13 column. These are the independent column, which value is not dependent on any other features, right? So these 13 features is going to affect to my housing value price, right? So hope you understood. So these 13 column, I could say this 13 column is my independent variable and this is my target column, means dependent variable. So if you can able to understand these two things, means independent or dependent, then your 50% job has done, right? As I can say. Okay, so now what is your next deal? You have to segregate your independent variable and dependent variable into two parts, right? So what I'm going to do here, I am going to segregate my dependent value and independent value here. Okay, so just give me 1 minute. Okay, so what I did here, you can see df.drop, and what is doing drop, everything we had discussed in my pandas class. Just go through that. If you not watch that video, then I'm not going to suggest you directly jump into this. This is some video which is helpful for those who already knows about the pandas and numpy. At least basic concept they should know, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop my target column, which is my house value, on axis 1. What is that? Means column wise we are going to do. And I'm going to means assign to the extent. Similarly, means dependent variable I'm going to assign to ytrain. And now what is our main task? If you can see my previous section, means whenever you are going to apply any machine learning algorithm, you have to split your data set into two parts, one for training, another for testing, right? So in case of training, we are going to take 70 or 80% or 80:2, 8:2, whatever you can say, whatever ratio you can take, you can happily you can take it up, right? So here what I'm going to do, I am going to you can say I'm going to split my complete data set into two parts, one for training, another for testing, right? So once it is done, okay, so now if you want to check what is the shape of that data set, print xtrain.shape. I converted my data set into 70:30, means for training I took you can say for training I took 70% and for testing I took 30%. Why it is that I already explained. So if you want to check all those things, what is the shape of that, so you can check it up, no worries. xtrain.shape, xtest.shape, xtest.shape, you can call the shape argument and print ytrain.shape and print ytest.shape, right? Cool. So you can see my complete data set xtrain is 506,13 and my xtest 152, again ytrain 506 and ytest is 152. So my data set has been segregated into the two part, one for training, another for testing. Now what is the next, right? What is the next is what, once it is done, training means splitting task is done. Now I'm going to apply my linear regression algorithm. So in see, whatever mathematics we had seen, no need to do all those mathematics here as of now, because means everything has been done by the inbuilt model we having, like in case of sklearn, we having the linear model, inside of linear model we having the linear regression. If you import this library, then linear regression model has been imported. Now you are going to create a model, you are going to create an object for the model. So how to create an object for the model? Just do one thing here, just call model is equal to linear regression and job is equal to -1. What is the and job here? And job means suppose you are using means 64-bit of architecture, or your quad core, you are using the quad core processor, means 4 CPU in a single CPU. So see, model means you are going to distribute your task, model task or machine task, into 4 different CPU. So your task will get done very fast. So that's what we are going to do these things, right? Hope you understood. Now next what I'm going to do, I'm going to fit my model, and so what I'm going to do, I'm going to fit my model.fit xtrain. First training data only we have to fit, and then once you fit you did the fit on the model, then you have to check the intercept. What is the intercept? We had discussed. Now coefficient also we had discussed, and value to do list, and then coefficient. Now I'm going to check all those things. Name error it is showing, no worries. Model is not defined. Okay, I need to execute this line of code, then only it will run. So you can see these are the model coefficient, these are the model, whatever 13 column we having, all 13 column is coefficient is it is. What is the coefficient? If you want to recall, then I would like to say one thing. If you know the straight line equation, so this is the straight line equation, guys. So this straight line where it is cutting to y-axis, that is known as the intercept, nothing else, right? So I already told you which column or which means which column you have to consider to model building. So for that, we know we should apply the p statics. So what is how the p statics works? If p value is less than 0.05, then you have to consider that column, otherwise you have to reject. So if you can see, whatever the column we having the value less than 0.05, that will see, if you can see, this is the, I can say everything is considerable up to the mark, right? So let's build the model with this behalf, and we'll see the accuracy. If my accuracy will not up to the mark, then we will remove it up, and we will see how to improvise our model accuracy, right? So this is the another task. Next, what I'm going to do, I am going to check what the model coefficient it is. Yeah, you can see NOx, column name NOx is having the negative correlation with the housing data. And you can see here, You can see other column means DIS having also negative correlation, but RM and CHAS with this diagram you can see having some positive correlation, but B, TAX, ZN having no relationship between that between them to target variable. So I can remove these things, I can remove these columns. Okay, so right now I'm not removing, incorporating all those columns, I'm going to build the model on the top of this, right? With behalf of that, I'm going to build my model. Now my model part has done. Now what I'm going to check, I'm going to check R statics, R square value. Means how to check the R square value. Again, there is a already inbuilt methods are there, with that you can call, but how it is going to create those things, that for that reason we are means how the R statics work. For that we already took one class in the previous session. I discussed mathematical behind of that, and this is my, you can say this is my R square value. Okay, so what is the R square value is saying? 71%. What do you mean by the 71%? Meaning is that means your model is able to define 71% correctly. Means if you are asking in Boston land, if I want to purchase one land, and if you are asking with the model, hey model, what should be the expected price on the Boston land, the model will give $50. So how means how much accurate result it is. So behalf of that, means behalf of R square value, you can say, okay, whatever model is giving, so I can trust on my model result 71%, right? So 71% is pretty good, I can say. But yes, if you want to improvise your model, then I would like to say you can drop this column tax B, ZN, because these three column is not giving any effect to your target column. So you can remove and you can check your accuracy. So this is up to you, this is your task how to do that, right? So now, so this has done. Now I am going to check, means whatever the predicted graph it is, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to, if you can see, this is, you can see this orange color mark, orange color scatter plot is showing predicted value, and blue color strips is showing my actual value, right? So my model has predicted this one, my model has predicted this one, but actually this one, my model has predicted this one, my model has predicted this one, but actually this one. So there is some difference, that's what R square value came around 71%. It is not giving correct 100% true. None of the machine learning algorithm will give 100% accurate result. If it is giving 100% accurate result, then also there is a problem, right? Hope you understood the practical implementation of the linear regression. Hope you enjoyed also. And if something I missed here, then please do comment over the comment section so I can incorporate here. Now in the next video, what we are going to discuss, ridge, lasso and elastic regression algorithm. What is the use of that? We will see in that video. Meanwhile, thank you for watching this. Thank you.